Never mind. An orphanage? Yep, neither of us had parents or family, so we were raised in an orphanage. Why do you hate her, you disgusting little man? But because she embodies betrayal, which is like my least favorite trait in a human being. Is that a sufficient answer for you? Beyond the second door, Pauline had a family and seemed to be quite well off. I guess that's not the case here. So you grew up together then? Sister Marie's never told me about her childhood before. I like to talk about the past. Not the best of memories after all. I'd say we're both lucky we made it this far in life. You still keep in touch with that shit heap of a director? Also, she keeps making me say swear words, and I don't wanna. Now don't talk about him like that. He's not a bad person. Yeah, I know. In your mind, everyone's not a bad person, including me. He isn't really. But yes, he stops by occasionally to check in. He was the one who set me on the path to becoming a nun. You literally like her if she was a man? Why? Why would I? That... You don't know anything about my taste in characters. Because you like Jacopo? I don't, though! I think he's an interesting character. I don't really, like, enjoy him, though. But I don't really think Marie is an interesting character. I don't know, I just didn't buy her motivation in door 3. He was always fond of you, perfect little angel you were. I doubt he liked me any more than anyone else. She's literally the daughter of a mob boss. Uh-huh. Yeah, she is. Compared to you, I was a damn gremlin. You were a naughty girl, weren't you, Maria? The naughtiest girl around. I'd throw rocks at the walls, making all the little holes. And one time, I even filled the director's shoes with dog shit. That would make anyone angry. I wasn't always a little twat, mind you. The director either loved you or hated you. There was no middle ground. And if he didn't like you, life was hell. To make you go without supper or force you to sleep outside. Shit like that. It's interesting you just don't like her because she reminds you of your little DeviantArt girlfriend? Getting a little personal there. But okay. That's really what you said? Yeah, alright. Are you done? That's awful. I had no idea he was doing that to you. You could have said something. Like, that would make a difference. You adored the damn director. You never would have believed me over him. Once you put your trust in someone, you refuse to believe they could be anything less than perfect. Completely blinded by faith. I don't... You do. The only reason you're willing to leave me now is because it's been so long, and because there are other people here. This would probably be a good time to step in, Michelle. Change the subject or something. I feel kind of bad for her. How long were you two together? Until we were around 10, I think? Does that sound about right? Sounds about right, yeah. I got fed up with everything and ran off. Ended up at a brothel. Been a whore ever since. It's been, what, 10 years now? I'm practically a veteran. Did you like life at the brothel better than the orphanage, Maria? Between the two, I'd take the brothel any day. There I've got friends and colleagues. Although, I did lose a whole bunch of them 4 years ago. 4 years ago? I remember hearing word of a brothel raided by bandits around that same time. Was that where you worked, Maria? Yep, and what a nightmare that was. I mean, why the hell would you raid a whorehouse? Why not go after someone's estate? Or the damn lord, for that matter? Brothel raided by bandits 4 years ago. What's the matter? Trying to make those forehead wrinkles permanent? I know I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm beginning to think Maria might have some contact with Morgana in real life as well. Or in this life. Whatever. Oh? 4 years ago would make Morgana 12. Where was she then? Ah! I have a question for you, Maria. Was there a girl by the name of Morgana at that brothel? You know Morgana? So my suspicion was right. This could take a really interesting turn real quick here. Yeah, Morgana was there. Me and the other girls looked after her together. But after the bandits razed the place, I never saw her again. What a travesty that was. It was chaos. Only a handful of us even survived. I figured she'd either been killed or sold off somewhere. But if you know her, that means she's alive, right? That's great to hear. I've been worried about her ever since. Michelle, Morgana's the Saintess's name, isn't it? That's what you told me. Huh? Saintess? That's right, Nellie. That is indeed the name of the person who performed your miracle. She's locked up in the tower now. Uh-oh. Locked up? You told Nellie all that nonsense too, Michelle? It's not nonsense. Mel told me everything. It's all true. He feels terrible about what he's done, but he can't set her free by himself. Now you too. We need the other keys. The Lord has one, and his bodyguard has another. After learning the truth, I knew I had to tell you. But I was too afraid you wouldn't believe me. And if you didn't believe me, something bad might happen to Mel. Your move, Pauline. It's not good to tell lies, Nellie. No, boo! The same goes for your brother as well. What? The Lord stores his valuables in that tower. That's why it's locked up and you can't get in. Or are all three of you after as well? Of course not! And you, Michelle, you need to stop planting these strange suspicions in. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You haven't changed one bit. Alright. Alright. Maria gets points. You wouldn't even give someone the time of day if they're saying anything that contradicts someone you've decided you trust. Can the watchtower, was it? Can you not bust the door down? I'm still lost as hell here. But long and short of it, is Morgana might be in that tower? Yeah, she is, yes. It might be possible to break down the door with a dozen or so people to help, but that's infeasible. Besides, opening the door isn't our only objective. So we need the other keys. Correct. It's not true. He would never do that to someone. People think he's scary and mean, but they're wrong. He's a sweet, respectable man. He would never lock up an innocent girl. Even though everyone else is saying he would. If I don't believe in him, then who will? So you are more than acquaintances. Busted. If you really have that much faith in his goodness, then tell us after you've seen what he's done. Pauline. Assuming, hypothetically, there really is someone in the tower, there's nothing I could do about it. I'm a nun. I have no real authority here. I'm just a pretty face. Nevertheless, he started this to help you. So if you tell him to stop, he might actually listen. Please, Sister Marie, help us with the Saintess. Set the Saintess free. Your ability to trust someone so completely is actually pretty amazing. But if you let it turn into blind faith, it'll come back and bite you in the ass. Could I please ask the two of you to leave? An old friend of mine might be being held prisoner right now, and you expect me to just scamper on home? Go. She is a little too innocent, perhaps. But I don't think her faith is entirely blind. You are a woman who is capable of making decisions for herself. I know you are. Yes, you've placed your complete faith in one man. That hasn't stopped you from considering what you should do with your own life. You were never short-sighted. We only met yesterday. What could you possibly know about me? I know you done got yourself killed by believing in someone so hard. Give me some time until tomorrow. Time to think about what to do. What to do, what to do. As you wish. So, is all that really true? It is. How do you know any of that, though? Because the story should have gone with this time. Should I use the letter again? Forget it. That's not important. Phew! The Pipsqueak ain't one to go throwing around accusations like that for shits. Point is, I'll take your word for it. And if we get the door open and it turns out there's no one there, no harm done. So you believe me? You're not lying, are you? No, I'm not. Then that's that. Frustrating part is, winning over a whore isn't going to get you very far toward fixing anything. True. That's not true. Oh, never mind. Just knowing you believe me is reassuring. If you say so. Could I ask you something? You did come here in search of the Lord, didn't you? He is the third key, without which we cannot get into the tower. And my gut tells me you're the one who's going to make that possible. Why would you think that? Because of the wonderful things he does. Because you have a very strong connection to him. You may think I sound crazy, but your souls are inextricably bound together. Our souls? Don't even joke. Don't even joke yourself. I know how it sounds, but that's the only way. Okay, you got me. I'm done lying. You're right, I came here to look for the Lord. There's rumor going around saying he's been seen coming in and out of the church here. So if you're gonna take the opportunity to cave his fucking skull in... You... what? What you gonna do about it? Call the guards on me? No, I won't. But tell me, why do you want to kill him? Why? What, are you not from around here? Well, you should know he's one hell of an aggressive ruler. I won't deny he's done wonders for the economy. The city's a great place the city's a great place to be if you're a merchant. Taxes are lower than anywhere else, and all you need is enough money and you can buy citizenship. But for the people who lived here our whole lives, the poor, the peasants who need the most help, blah. It's only getting harder to stay afloat. The gap's getting bigger by the day. While the main streets look lavish and lively, people are literally starving to death on the back streets. He tore down his vineyard that's been around for generations to make room for more shops. For this vineyard, not his. And sure, you can import some damn fine wine from some other city. But where does that leave everyone who can't afford it? That reminds me, in the third door he ran some other company's factory out of business for his own profit. Different businesses, same practices. Giselle? The merchants, especially those who came in from other cities, get treated like kings, but the Lord still has plenty of enemies. Ah, I see. So you're someone who doesn't think highly of him, then? Pretty much. What would killing one man accomplish, though? Not much, probably. It'd make me feel a hell of a lot better, though. Do you not actually know the Lord in person, then? I met him before, so I know who to look for. But that's about it. There's none of this, oh, what do you call it, inextricably linked souls crap. No fucking thank you. Maria says she's met him. Morgana mentioned seeing prostitutes at the Lord's Manor when she was first taken there. Would she have been one of them then? Changing the subject a bit, there's something I want to ask you about Pauline. Frankly, her being a nun, it doesn't make a damn lick of sense to me. What do you mean? I mean, this isn't what she wanted with her life. When we were kids at the orphanage, she wasn't exactly this pillar of faith. We said grace before meals, but only because those were the rules. All ceremony, nothing more to it. She appears to be quite devout to me. I'm thinking something had to have made her that way, forced her into the role. The girl I knew was pretty unexceptional. Had her head in the clouds, though, so we never really got along. She was always talking about how, when she left the orphanage, she'd find a perfect man, fall in love, get married. You could practically see the hearts in her eyes. They'd buy a comfortable house, have a few kids, maybe get a dog. Be a happy family, warm, peaceful. And every time she told me this, I'd snort and tell her she needed to get herself a more original dream, at which point she'd start crying and calling me mean. Wow, Maria's an impressively jaded 10-year-old girl. She was a girl in love with love, and now she's a bloody nun. Guess it kind of makes sense as an extension of her unwavering trust shtick. But I mean, come on. Surely she could have chosen someone better to put that trust in. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, and as unreceptive as she was back there, she wasn't doing it maliciously. Not that I have any right to defend her after all the shit I gave her about it. You know, you're not making it very hard to tell whether you like her or not. Don't think too hard about it. Just sticking up for an old acquaintance. Anyway, I think I'll head back. As concerned as I am about Morgana, there ain't much I can do. Guards aren't gonna believe the ramblings of some whore, especially not when she's making an accusation about the damn Lord. That part's gonna be a real bitch, I figure. If there's anything I can do, let me know. You can find me at the brothel in town. Well, I'm off. Ah. It's late. I'm not sure how safe it is for you to be wandering around the dark alone. Maybe I should accompany you. Don't worry, this is my home turf. And besides, if someone did attack, I'm pretty sure I could outrun you. And overpower you at that. Yeah. Worst part is she's probably right. But... yeah, gonna go with better safe than sorry. I would feel better knowing you made it back safely. I'm telling you, I don't need an escort. But if you insist, you're welcome to accompany me. The brothel's in the back streets. If you want, you can even stay for a bit. Have a little fun. I think I'll have to pass. Maybe one day you'll get that stick out of your ass. Giselle. What? Hello, what is it? You've been so quiet, I was getting concerned. It's good to know you're still there. I guess I sort of dozed off for a bit. I'm fine though, no need to worry. Are you sure? Yeah, just remind me what's going on, would you? You're positive nothing's wrong? Positive as positive can be. I promise, I just nodded off. Sus! I just convinced Maria to let me escort her back to the brothel. Seriously? Should I not have offered? I didn't think you were thoughtful enough to accompany a lady home at night. That's what you're surprised by? That's a low blow. I thought that's what Dieter would have done, so that's what I did. You know, I think maybe we should not try to be like Dieter, you know? I see. Well, make sure she gets back safely then. I will. Yo, you just gonna stand there? Get moving or I'll leave you in the dust. Ah ha ha ha. Oh ho ho hee hee ha ha ha. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, this should do. The back streets aren't particularly welcoming to new faces popping up and wandering around after dark. Wouldn't want you to get mugged on your way back. I don't need that on my conscience right now. You have a conscience? Alright, out of curiosity, is the brothel you work at right now the same one that was attacked 4 years ago? Nah, different place. Unless someone's done something with it, the one from 4 years ago is still abandoned. I thought about fixing it up, getting everyone back together, but there's not so many of us left, and well, I'm not even sure I want to go back myself, you know? Understandable. What was Morgana like when she was there? Not sure what to tell you. She never talked much, so I'm not sure if she even liked being around us. I can assure you she did. She told me her time in the brothel was one of the few chapters of her life she remembers fondly. If that's true, that's great to hear. Oh, that's a good smile. There were times I thought maybe we should take her to an orphanage somewhere. But, well, you know how my experience living at one of those went, so yeah. But at the same time, it's not like a bunch of whores were gonna make better parents. So I was never sure what the right thing to do was. And then after the raid, well, I felt like shit. She didn't have to be there, but I stupidly thought it was a good idea to keep a little girl in the lawless back streets. I can't tell you what the best choice would have been, but I can tell you her time with you changed her for the better. So you don't need to feel guilty about choosing to keep her there. I appreciate it. If it's not too much trouble, could you tell me about Morgana in more detail? It's a bit late tonight, so how about tomorrow? Got a little something I want to give you, too. Oh? It's nothing much, but you'll see. I'll sneak into the courtyard again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night will be too late, won't it? Blech? Alright. I'll meet you there then. Anyway, I'm off. Actually, one last thing before I go. Take this. What? A knife? To protect yourself. You sure don't look like you're carrying anything. I'm not, but if I take this, then you... It's fine. I've got two. You have... Collecting pointy things is one of my hobbies. That's a weird way to phrase it, but alright. That doesn't sound like the safest hobby. Anything with a nice sharp tip sends shivers down my spine. Okay. Makes my heart skip a beat. I'm not sure those are appropriate feelings to have about blades. This reminds me of the time Jacopo gave Maria a cartridge. She got pretty excited about that too. I can understand taking an interest in weaponry, but hers seems somewhat excessive, dangerously so. Anyway, I don't see why you shouldn't take it. She has a point. It is dangerous out at night. That's why she gave you a point. Now you both have points. I'd honestly rather not be carrying a knife at all. What? Why not? They scare you. Ah. I'll be fine. It's only for self-defense, not hurting other people. Really, you don't have to worry about me. I do appreciate the consideration, though. If you say so. But if I do have to defend myself with it, just don't scream inside my head when I swipe at them with the knife. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. It's nothing. Just give it back to me tomorrow night, and we're all good. Anyway, see you then. Stay warm. Pretty sure I'm dressed much warmer than her. We should get going too. Alright. It is chilly tonight though. True. Nani? Did you hear that? I thought I heard a voice. It did. It came from the bushes over there. I'm going to see if I can get a little closer. Ah! Oh yeah, I was gonna try to like do a voice mod for Beastia. But did I save a good one for him? No, I didn't save any good ones. Never mind, I'm not gonna bother. Besides, he's only gonna be here for like a minute, probably, maybe. Actually, no, in this game he'll be here for the next 2 hours, but you know. How about the observation tower? Ah! Do you believe it is? Are we witnessing a tryst? A tryst? I forget how to pronounce that. Even though I looked it up earlier. But I won't look it up again, or else Evie will pull her ears off of her head. In any other circumstances, I would just walk away and let them be. But she mentioned the tower, so I can't. We should listen in and try not to get caught. Agreed. Several different people have told me the same thing. That there's someone being held in the tower. Who was the first? Who was the first to mention it? Oh, really? You just gonna call us out, huh, Pauline? Michelle, you know the man who showed up yesterday? He's staying in a room in the mansion. Ah, the one with the white hair. Yeah, him. Who else told you? Nellie. And while he hasn't said anything to me personally, she says Mel confirmed it as well. I see. There's no need for concern. The only thing in the tower is the Lord's fortune. You know, Bestia, if suddenly all three of those people turn up dead, then she's not gonna like you so much anymore. You know this. Trust me, please. Pauline. You know how many enemies the Lord has. You know how many of them would like nothing more than to see him fall. This allegation that he has someone imprisoned on his personal property is nothing more than a fabrication by these people. Don't be one of them. Support him. Support me. It's a terrible shame Mel and Nellie think the Lord would do such a thing. Don't listen to him, Pauline. He's lying to you. Should I stay hidden, or should I intervene? I believe you more than anyone in the world. You have my complete trust, you know that. But I would still like to see for myself. If there's no one in the tower, then that proves their accusations are baseless. Pauline. I want to trust you even more, so please let me see what it's like. What's in the observation tower? Please? You say there's no one there, so it shouldn't be any problem, right? Okay. I'll talk to the Lord when he's here tomorrow. I can't let you in without his permission, of course. But once I've spoken with him, I'll take you to see what's in the tower. Thank you. It's getting late. You should head back. Okay. Don't look so glum, Pauline. We'll see each other again tomorrow, as usual. Yeah. Well, good night. Good night. Sounds like she convinced him. I wouldn't be so sure about that. You could always move Morgana before letting Pauline in. We'll have to keep a close eye on him tomorrow. I know you're out there. Uh-oh! What? Show yourself. If you won't come to me, then I'll have to come to you. I have a good idea where you're hiding. Michelle. Finally decided to show yourself, did you? How did you know I was there? Simple. I can sense the presence of others. It's hardly what I would call simple for most people. I was hoping to enjoy the show a little longer. Huh? You remember what I said at supper about our little sideshow? What about it? Well, it looks like we have to go off script. Go off what? You still don't get it? He sounds pretty agitated, Michelle. We need to get out of here now. Can you not see him, Giselle? What? He's got his hands on his sword. I can't risk turning my back on him. Not that my front's really gonna do much good against him. I should have stepped in while Pauline was still around. I don't have many opportunities to do this these days, so I was planning on taking it nice and slow. There's so many obstructions outside. It makes this kind of work difficult. I would think swinging a sword indoors would be more difficult, but you know. If you care about the nun, about Pauline, if she really means something to you, then you need to set Morgana free. Keeping her locked up will bring no one anything but pain, and that includes Pauline. Uh-oh. And why should I care? Michelle! I feel something resembling a gale. The next thing I know, the man's inches away from me, swinging his sword down. Did I get a bad end? Was I supposed to say I prefer Pauline at the choice? The knife. Oh. Miraculously, I managed to get the blade out just in time, catching his sword mid-descent with a sharp clang. For a very brief moment, a look of perplexity crosses his face. Now's my chance to run. Ah! Michelle! How? I stagger from the impact. And as I fall to the ground, I catch sight of it. The curved blade sticking out of my chest. He must have thrown his sword to prevent my escape. Michelle, what's happening? Stay with me. You have to stay with me. I focus on the searing pain spreading through my chest to keep my mind from growing any hazier. I begin crawling, trying to put some distance between us, and from behind. Yerk! The man slams his heel into my back. How anticlimactic. I thought you'd hold out a little longer, considering you managed to brandish that knife. Don't. Please, what are you doing? Get away from him, I'm begging you. Spare him! There's a name engraved on the handle. So it's not even your knife. Maria. Put that down. Michelle! Who did you get this from? Answer me. Not feeling cooperative, are we? That knife has always belonged to me. Maria simply refers to the Virgin Mary, I guess. Well, it shouldn't be too hard to find who they are. I know it's not her, at least. So Mel, his sister, and that Maria are all colluding with you? What are you going to do to them? That should be obvious. Leave them alone! No, why did this have to happen? It's not funny. The more lives you take, the farther you become from human. Become as to not human. That's not what you want, is it? I've always been a killer. I've always had this insatiable urge to take life. But I know you also wanted to enjoy your reunion with them in the afterlife. Michelle! No! At least beg for your life, would you? No, please stop this. Blurg, nerd. Crawling in my skin. Crawl through the dirt like the worm you are, and beg for me to spare you. Why are you doing this? No, please stop. Yuck. Not even a scream, really? Bah, you're no fun. Stop it, don't do this. No! No! These wounds, they do not heal. The man is deranged, cackling, and Giselle's desperate screams begin fading into the distance. I've long since lost any sort of idea about the condition of my body. In my attempt to save Giselle and Morgana, I managed to not only fail that, but endanger everyone who was kind enough to help me. What have I accomplished? Anything at all? Wow, a dead end. I can't believe it. That's crazy. I'm so startled. I'm so surprised. I'm so startled right now, you guys. I'm so startled. Alright. Most recent autosave? Oh, we were not supposed to go with Maria, I think. I guess? You'll be fine. I appreciate the thought. See ya. Hold on a second. Something else you needed? I would like, if you could, for you to tell me something about the time you spent with Morgana. Anything you can, no matter how insignificant it may seem. I want to know what kind of life she had there. How's tomorrow sound? Tomorrow? I'll sneak into the courtyard tomorrow night. Meet me there and I'll tell you what you want to know. Why not now, though? No real reason. Just need a little time to sort things through. A gulp. See you tomorrow night. Stay warm. Not even a chance to get another word in. Also, I feel like I'm dressed much warmer than her. Tomorrow night, that doesn't leave us with much time. Giselle. What? Yep, what? You've been so quiet, I was getting concerned. It's good to know you're still there. I guess I sort of dozed off for a bit. It's fine though. Blah blah blah. Running into Maria was a great stroke of luck. Thanks to her, we now have confirmation that the nun is indeed Pauline. And we've potentially convinced Pauline to try and talk to the swordsman. Depending on how things pan out tomorrow, we could be getting very close to accomplishing our goal. I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing, just like with Mel. Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. I certainly hope so. What could go wrong? Doki. So before you go to sleep, do you want to talk for a bit? Of course. In fact, I was about to ask you the same thing. That's what you say, but on the inside, you actually enjoy being surrounded by girls more than talking to me, don't you? Depends on the girls. And you seem to enjoy teasing me. I'm just kidding. Truthfully, I don't think I've ever wished you were there to save me more than then. Never been comfortable in such spirited environments. It was so lively. So lively, you guys. Put 3 women in a room and it'll get like that, yeah. It can be overstimulating. I could not have been more out of my element. I don't know, he seemed to fit pretty well to me. You really think so? Made for a great plaything. Oh yes, I'm quite good at that, aren't I? I will say, there was one thing about the whole affair that surprised me. What would that be? I did not expect I would be able to have such a normal social interaction. And not because I'm awkward or a poor conversationalist. For most of my life, I was cursed, irregular, and you're the only one who didn't treat me like that. I came to be what I saw as normal. And as such, being able to participate in a social gathering like that is a very exotic sensation. And it feels almost like it shouldn't be possible. Well, it's not. None of this is real. We're in a memory of a dream of a past life. You are normal, Michelle. An ordinary man. This right here. This is what I wish I always had in life. As for me finally to attain it in death, and for I can't read. Though I suppose lamenting the details would make me ungrateful. I'm glad to have had the experience, though. I'm glad to hear it. So, I know I've been talking about how much I want to save Morgana, and that hasn't changed. Neither has my desire to change everyone's future. For the future! But if you want to leave this place, to go somewhere far away and live your own life, you have my full support. I don't think that would work, but I appreciate the thought, Giselle. You've got everything you ever wanted. You have the right to choose to stay here, live in this time. I wouldn't dream of it. I'm not going to leave you trapped in that darkness. I will not make the same mistake twice. Regardless, there's no point of me choosing a life without you there as well in the flesh. I need your flesh, Giselle. It's important. For reasons. Okay then. Well, I'll be in here waiting. Hopefully not for long. I really think Morgana and I have a great deal in common. What? One the daughter of God, one a demon child. We're both forced to live in human roles. Living lives of solitude, constantly having things we cared about taken away from us. Including, ultimately, our lives. The big difference between me and her is that I had you. If you hadn't been there at the end of my mortal life, perhaps I too would have grown to despise those who had put me through such misery. Curse their very souls. She had no one, though. Not a single person there for her final days. From what she told us, though, her life wasn't all sorrow and misery. She did eventually come to find happiness in her time at the brothel. In fact, she even said that was where she learned to experience joy. While I know there were a number of girls there, if Maria was one of them, she was particularly close with, perhaps her being here could have a positive effect on Morgana. That was a long sentence. We'll have to see what she says tomorrow night. That we will. And then our time limit is noon the next day. So we'll need to have everything necessary figured out by then. Everything it will take for her to have a change of heart. I'm not worried one bit. I have complete confidence in you, Michelle. I am somewhat worried. What's there to worry about? Here, I'll shout, "You can do it!" 100 times! So you're planning to cheer me to death? I just want every last bit of you to know I'm rooting for you. I assure you, you've made that abundantly clear. Hey, there was something I wanted to tell you, if that's alright. Yes? Well, I learned about your past and about your body. When I learned, it came as a big shock to me. That said, I'm confident you know my feelings for you haven't changed one bit. I do. But what I want you to know is that even if I had found out back then, instead of after having waited hundreds of years for you to return, my feelings still would not have changed. I mean, you can't really know that for a fact, but I appreciate the sentiment. I mean, she's probably right. If you had told me while I were alive, I would have still accepted you. Now, of course, I know it's not something you could have come out with so easily, especially considering everything you went through because of it. We only lived together for a little over a year, and we were only partners for a month. So I understand how difficult it would have been to think I wouldn't push you away. But I'm not sure you grasp just how much I loved you, even then. My wounds, they do not heal. My wounds ran deeper than even I knew. And then fully healing was simply not possible. Huh, she pretty much said it. These wounds, they do not heal. It's not something I should laugh about. Anyone else's touch, anyone else's warmth, my heart and body would have rejected. I sincerely wish I had expressed that to you more clearly. That it had to be you, that I needed you. I did believe at the time that I could start over with you. That we could have a normal life together. Or, well, I fooled myself into believing it. But I could never rid myself of the guilt and shame. And how it was impossible for me to give that to you. I would imagine our future together. You smiling with our children in your arms, playing with them, scolding them, teaching them. And then I would remember I am incapable of giving you those children. I mean, you could do a surrogate thing if you wanted. Or adopt. I'm incapable of giving you those children. Or even engaging in the prerequisite acts. The more I wished for your happiness, the tighter that guilt constricted me. I do apologize for not saying anything. You carried far more weight than any one person should ever have to carry alone. But you don't have to do that anymore. For one, I'll support you no matter what. And in this time, you're normal to everyone, not only me. You have allies. You don't have to take everything on yourself anymore. I love you, Michelle. I do. I absolutely adore you. But where's this coming from? I wanted to say it, so I did. Is that a problem? No, no problem. You're blushing, aren't you? Your cheeks are red as tomatoes. I wish I could see you now. I'm going to open the window. Why, it's night. It's going to be cold. Exactly, I need to cool down. Also need an escape route for when Bestia comes and tries to kill me in the morning. But I don't know that. Ah. What are you eyeing at? Don't you eye at me. Rude. It says spring snow. Oh, I hate those. They happen a lot, actually, where I live. It's gorgeous. There's hardly a cloud when I was outside earlier, and now it's snowing. Are you worried Maria might catch something out in this weather? Hopefully she'll be in bed by now. I've never seen it snow in the spring before. Maybe I just wasn't paying any attention to what lay beyond the dark walls of that house. Maybe. Have you? Blech. Have I? Seen a springtime snow before? 3 or 4 times, perhaps. So, not very often, no. Ah, so you've seen this already. Would it have been better if I hadn't? No, that's not what I'm saying. I just thought it would be nice if it was the first time for both of us. You sound like a little kid. No, I sound like a romantic. Gosh. Freaking try and they just make fun of you. Is it that childish? Well, I don't mind either way. I'm so glad my first time seeing it isn't alone. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Little specks of white drifting through the darkness. Yes, I can see it. I see it, and now it's all within my reach. It's beautiful. I'm happy I could see this with you too. Boop boop. You don't want the wind to cool you off too much now. I think it's time for you to warm back up. Sorry, I was so engrossed by the sight. Maybe it'll stick And you can see it again tomorrow. The grounds would be quite lovely covered in snow. But for now, you should get some sleep. I suppose. You already passed out once today. You need to make sure you're well rested. Hard to argue with that. I'll be counting on your help again tomorrow. Our success or failure depends on how tomorrow goes. That it does. Let's make it count. Good night, Giselle. Good night, Michelle. Doki. Oh. What? What are you ellipsising at me ominously about? 2 days until her death? 1 day until her death. Dun dun dun. 24 hours remain. Blinking, blink. Oh, we're blinking. We do be blinking, though. Blinking, blinking, I've been thinking, what the heck have you been drinking? Is it water? Is it wine? Oh my gosh, it's turpentine. I'm gonna be right back. Wait a minute, was that doubled up on audio the whole time? I'll have to check that later. Anyway. Thanks for waiting. I had to do some ferret things, but I am done with those ferret things. Da da da. Huh? Oh yeah. We're definitely tied up and in a basement. Almost certainly. My head feels like someone drove a spike through it. It's because they did. Just kidding. What's going on? Am I in the cellar? What? My hands are tied up behind my back. What am I doing down here? Erg. Wait. Giselle? Giselle? Say something, Giselle. Unable to make any sort of sense out of my circumstances. It's not long after I regain consciousness that panic begins to sink in. And the most unsettling thing of all, the most frightening detail, is the fact that I can't hear her voice. Awake, are we? Are you enjoying my anti-voice in your head drugs? Are you the one who brought me here? We mad. Look at him. What, you don't remember this morning? Morning? Right, I woke up because I heard someone enter the room, and he hit me over the head. You're not dead. You're not dead, at least. That's good. What do you hope to accomplish by tying me up and bringing me down here? Remember what I said last night at supper? About me putting on a little sideshow for you? What? I was reenacting the Last Supper with you as the guest of honor. That was you reenacting the Last Supper? How so, aside from the fact that it was a supper and it was Michelle's last, according to you? Not funny, didn't laugh, Beastia. Oh, now I see. When were you asking if I had any family or friends? Trying to find out if anyone would notice if I disappeared. If anyone would make any noise. Yeah, you think so? I'm surprised you answered those questions. You're sharper than you look. If only you'd caught on yesterday. Yerk. Please, Giselle, say something. Giselle, why won't you answer me? Why can't I hear your voice? Why can't I feel you there? You're a quiet one. Thought you'd be a little louder. Good. What made you decide to get rid of me? Did the nun say something? She has nothing to do with this. I have permission from the Lord to act at my own discretion. Should I come across anyone acting suspicious? This doesn't seem the least bit wrong to you. I wouldn't say that. You're an acquaintance's friend. Made a long trip to come see him. I have you tied up in the cellar. That's not what I would consider right, no. But seeing as you're good enough friends for him to let you stay here, I'm assuming he's also spilled everything. He never had what it took, that boy. If I were to guess, it got to be too much for him to handle, so he went to a friend, to you. Leave him out of this. I see. So how much did he tell you? If you come clean, I might even let you go. Get rid of him. Have you take his place. I said leave him out of this! So you're determined not to talk, are you? What a loyal friend. Listen to me. Listen? Oh, I'm listening. No! Stop with this face. Because you have a lot of talking to do. No. I don't have many chances to let loose my skills, so I'll be taking as much time as I can today. He says in an eerily flat tone of voice as he draws nearer, pausing between each step as if to taunt me. And when he reaches me, struggling to get off the ground, Gah! He slams his heel into my shoulder. Not being able to use your hands makes you appreciate how much easier it is to stand up when you can, doesn't it? I mean, sure. Someone, please help. Gargaplock. Don't waste your energy. No one ever comes back this far. And the door's so heavy, your screams would never make it out. But that's the least of your worries. The door to the cellar's been locked, and the only key is right here in my hand. There's no getting in. If you can run fast enough, you might have a chance of making it to the door and escaping. Want to test your luck? Doubt you can make it. He puts the full weight of his body into his heel, pressing down on my spine, turning my breaths into gasping sputters. I gathered together all my strength, but even that isn't enough to overpower him. Now you're going to tell me everything. What are you and the boys scheming? What's your endgame? Who else is in on it? Yerg! Damn it. Don't have many options here. What can I even do in this situation? Tell me what I want to know, and maybe I'll let you live. I guess I have no choice but to tell him the truth. Alright, fine, I'll tell you everything. Just know that this isn't some attempt to beg for mercy. I came to this mansion in order to unlock the door to the observation tower and free Morgana. Mel was not the one who told me about her, though. I went to him and asked for his assistance. He didn't have to tell me because I already knew. Both about her and what you're doing to her, stealing her blood and making medicine from it. Who told you then? Morgana did. Morgana's soul told me everything. I am not from this time. I have lived in a time after her death. Ouch. Yeah. It takes me several moments to process what just happened. A fire runs up my arm from my little finger, only turning into pain when it finally reaches my brain. I twist my head back to see the man on top of me holding my right hand. My finger snapped backwards at the second joint. Ow! I hate you, Beastio. Yeah. I'll ask you again. Who told you? Morgana did. She dies on the day of the Harvest Festival. Next up is your ring finger. Then your middle if you insist on keeping this up. I'm telling you the truth. She bears so much hatred, she casts a curse on your souls. I've seen what happens in your next life. Ouch. Ah, ah. Now you're resorting to souls and next lives. I'm genuinely impressed. What lies are you going to cook up next, white-haired knave? If I don't set Morgana free, your souls will be enslaved for all eternity. Imprisoned in this cursed mansion. Whether the bell tolls noon on the day of the Harvest Festival, when the bell... You lose everything. All of you will. You cannot escape it unless you do something. And then the reason you locked Morgana in the first place, she won't be safe either. She'll be killed. 2 fingers left. Can you keep up the act that long? I feel like after the first finger, it's like... Well, okay, after the second finger, it's like he obviously experienced the first finger and kept going. And if he's still going after the second finger, like, dude, 2 more fingers ain't gonna do nothing. Except satisfy your sadistic tendencies, but I guess that's what you're after anyway. Everything I'm saying is the truth. If I've seen it all with my own 2 eyes. Why are you so insistent on maintaining this farce? Is it to protect the boy, or do you have some other motive? Every last word is true. Continuing the lie isn't going to make this any easier. Your voice is shaking. The pain's starting to get to you, isn't it? What you're doing to Morgana, it achieves nothing. You must release her and atone for your sins. Otherwise your soul, and the souls of those you care about, will be doomed to suffering. I see what this is now. You don't have the information I want, so all you can do is spin these lies. You thick-skulled bastard. There are other options, though. Beg me for mercy. Sob like a little child, sniveling your "please don't kill me's" and "I don't want to die's" and "it hurts so bad, please stops." Grovel on the ground, you tiny, pathetic man, and if you can entertain me, maybe I'll consider it. I will never shed another tear. And I will never beg for your damn mercy! Besides, you don't even have mercy, beast, do you? Why would I beg for it? I'm not gonna beg for something that Dawn exits. Nothing I've said to you has been a lie. Some cheap attempt to fool you into letting me go. Every word of it is true. I know the sins you've burdened your soul with. I know the fate that awaits you in your next life. And I will gladly tell you every detail. Ow, my finger. Ow, I needed that. For hand things. You're down to just your thumb. Now go on, if you're so eager to tell me. Let's hear about my supposed next life, shall we? In your next life, you lose your memory in an accident, causing you to forget your own humanity. The innate savagery you normally keep hidden beneath the mask is released unrestricted. And you turn into a creature no more. No, you turn into a beast! 258 beasts! My mask. You murder countless people, including the woman you once called your lover. Lover? Hers is a name you know very well. Pauline, your tether. My tether? How would you know that word? Because I know everything. I know what you wanted. I know what you were never able to obtain. You idolized humanity. You yearned for peace. You telling me I kill the nun in my next life? I am. That is the fate that lies waiting for you. Her love for you is so strong, she refuses to believe you're dead. She leaves her seaside hometown in search of you, and she finds you. But you slaughter her. Did you say she lived in a city on the sea? In addition to her, you also lose someone else. A woman who tried to give you the peace you so desired. which eventually caused you to succumb entirely to instinct. Enough! Ow, my thumb! It needed that for thumb things. Alright, fine. Now I know what you are. You're no mere seasoned liar. You're an advanced liar. You're some kind of evil spirit that deceives humans. You're peering into my heart, tailoring your lies specifically to manipulate me. If that was true, then you wouldn't be doing this to me. Because I'd be better at it. I am not. I swear, I have seen everything that happens. Enough. But there's a chance you can change your fate. All you have to do is cease your involvement in Morgana's imprisonment. Set her free. Allay the hatred she bears for you. Allay? Not sure if I've heard that word ever before.
Allay.
Diminish or put to rest. Relieve or alleviate. Well, I mean, I could have figured that out based on the context. Allay. A wimale, 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 a wimale. Allay the hatred that she bears for you. Are you deaf? I said I've heard enough. Release Morgana. Save your soul. Give her a better future. Silence. I think I'll take your arm off first. Cut right through your shoulder, nice and slowly. Don't. Oh, the beastie is coming out, huh? Yeah. It'll still be attached for a while yet, don't you worry. You hear that, spirit? That's the sound of your flesh ripping apart. The sound of your muscles being severed. Pain. Pecco. Not gonna be doing much talking anymore, are you? Not through the pain, you aren't. If I was some spirit, then what makes you think that this would be affecting me? Like, wouldn't you think I would have, like, powers besides reading your mind? Maybe? Oh, I mean, he's just lying to himself anyway. Not through the pain, you aren't. Ow. Plead for your life, spirit. Beg for mercy. Admit it was all a sham. Apologize. Let the room fill with your cries of agony. That nothing was a sham. Every last word, it's all the truth. I'll rip your head right off your shoulders. I don't care who you are or what you are anymore. You're dead! You will do no such thing! Hey, thanks for waiting until all my fingers were broken and my arm was half severed. Pauline, thanks for that. Get back! You will not harm him further. I like the amount that you harmed him plenty. This amount's fine. No more. Pauline? What? What are you doing here, Pauline? I told you to stay away. And the door was locked. I opened it. You! Thanks, Mel. One of Natalie's hairpins was long enough to get into the lock and undo it. She won't be getting much use out of it anymore, though. Busted up pretty badly in the process. If you know what's going on, like, Pauline should have, like, knocked on the door and been like, Swordmaster, I know what you're doing, you better stop, or I'll never forgive you. Something, you know, spare my arm a little bit. Oh, whatever. It's fine, they tried. An effort was made. You get a gold star, Mel, for trying. She won't be getting much use out of it anymore, though. Busted up pretty badly in the process. The locks on the tower and door are too complex, but this one here is a lot simpler. Bet you never expected me to go cat burglar on you, huh? You stupid boy! Oh, what was your question last night again? Something about being on the edge of a cliff or whatever? Well, here's your answer. I'll do everything I can to save both of them. That's a good answer, Mel. Good job. This is terrible. How could you? Oh my, you're badly hurt. You think so? Sit tight. I'll call for a doctor. Don't worry about me. My body's temporal. You need to talk to him. To get him to talk. We've got to do something about you, though. I'll get that wound patched up right quick, I will. Until you can get it properly checked out. Thank you. Was it you who went to get Pauline? No, I ran into her while I was looking for you. Which is when she told me she was looking for him. Neither of us were having any luck, so we scoured the mansion together. And when we reached the stairs to the cellar and heard the screaming, my worst fears were confirmed. So I picked the lock and here we are. Alright, I'm gonna assume that you picked that lock really quick and you got here as quick as you could and you didn't just like sit there on the other side being like, dang it, this stupid lock. Alright, alright. Benefit of the doubt for you, Mel. Sorry we didn't make it sooner. This could have been avoided. God, look what he did to you. There's so much blood. And your fingers. No, you made it just in time. My arm's still attached, and I'm not dead. Neither of which would be true without you. So I guess that means I actually did something good for once? Did something for someone other than myself? That you did. You get some good boy points, Mel. So everything Michelle said is true? The Lord isn't storing his valuables in the tower. He's got a girl locked up in there. Well, is it true or not? It's still the Lord's property either way. The church is being funded with her miracle blood. So that makes her valuable, yes. So you're saying you've been handing out human blood and telling people it was medicine? Not human, witch. No, Morgana is a human girl. She hasn't become a witch yet, at least not here. All this time, I've been lying to the people who believed in me, without even knowing what I was doing. It's not lying if you think it's true. Lying has to be like you know that it's not true. It's part of the definition. Like you said, you don't know. You haven't done anything wrong. Ignorance does not excuse sin. I think it does, though. I mean, all that time I spent with you, and I didn't notice anything wrong. That was the idea. You weren't supposed to notice anything. It's not your fault I deceived you. It's unreasonable to think you should have been able to. All that you did to help me, though. You did to help me, though, didn't you? Like a stupid little girl, I assumed it was all out of the good of your heart. Never once stopping to think any deeper than that, about where it was all coming from. Maria was right. I was blind. I was content to be pleased about the people I thought I was helping. I want you to do something for me. I want you to set this girl, set Morgana free. Please, do not make your sins any greater than they already are. Without the witch's blood, we'll lose the Lord's patronage and the church. What good is the church that isn't actually saving anyone? Actually, no. That's avoiding the point entirely. What do you mean? To tell you the truth, I never really cared about the church at all. You what? How can you say that when you've always been so unconditionally charitable, even if it meant giving away food or money you needed yourself? People call you the Saintess because that's what you are, a saint. It's true. I do that. It's a bad habit, truly. But the fact is, I'm no saint. I don't deserve to be held up as one, nor do I belong in that position. I'm just an ordinary girl, living in a lonely world. I never wanted to be a nun, you know. I just didn't have any other options available to me. And I sure didn't have the confidence to make it out there on my own like Maria. So I did as I was told. And to keep myself from thinking it was a mistake, from feeling dissatisfied with that choice, I put everything I had into my responsibilities to the church. My unconditional charity is rooted entirely in selfishness. And the longer I kept it up, the harder it became to stop. I forgot what I really wanted. And what would that be? A normal, happy life, as an ordinary girl. In a city on the water. But that's what you said your dream was for your next life. Right. Yeah. A quiet life with the man I love. You might still get that wish, in fact. Huh? That's what you said, wasn't it? That in her next life, she lives in a city by the sea? That is correct. In your next life, Pauline, you are not a nun. You're an ordinary girl who lives in a seaside city. A sweet, cheerful, energetic girl who bears her heart on her sleeve. Yet both your mother and your father and I... So you believe me now? I don't know. Your claims are utterly ridiculous. But it's getting harder to think you're lying. If that's what you really wanted, Pauline, what should I have done instead? I envied what you had. That solace. The last thing I wanted was for you to lose it. Yo, I've definitely seen the word solace before, but I feel like a definition check. I mean, I've probably used that word before, but... Solace, comfort, or consolation in a time of distress or sadness. Give comfort or consolation to. Yes. It's always good to double check your words. I mean, obviously you can't check all of them all the time, because then you'd just constantly be reading dictionary entries for your whole life. Which is less fun than it sounds. But you're saying you found no peace in that life? That's right. So what should I have done? I want you to take me away from this place, somewhere far away. I hate helping people. I want you to make it so I could be Pauline, not Marie. That would have been my ideal life. To live with you, to have a family with you. How? How was I supposed to know? You couldn't possibly have known. I realized that. And that makes me every bit as complicit as you. Sure. Set Morgana free. I mean, you're complicit now, if you let it keep going, for sure. I will be expected to pay for my crimes. That itself is not a problem. I have every intention of facing the consequences. But we have done terrible, gruesome things. I don't know what the usual punishment for such is in this land. But if I had to guess, I would say execution. And me being an outsider makes it easier for people to place the blame on me. I won't be able to take you away. We'll find each other again in our next lives, okay? Sure. Okay. As I'm sure you heard, my involvement in this conspiracy ends here. I'm glad to hear you decided to take action. Sorry about your fingers and arm. My bad. I'm still alive, that's what matters. The third key is in the Lord's possession. You said you need it by noon of the Harvest Festival, yes? Which means we need to act quickly. That's correct. We must set Morgana free before the bell tolls noon tomorrow. Then tonight. That's the next time the Lord will be here. Tonight I'll kill him and take his key. It works. Wait. No, we're not shedding any blood to get his key. Why not? Do you remember what I said a few minutes ago about not committing any further sins? Yeah, but it's Jacques Lafoche, or whatever his name is. He's not likely to hand over the key without a fight, though. We need to convince him, not force his hand. Besides, simply opening the door is not enough. Why not? My goal here is to save Morgana's soul. In order to do that, I need to pacify at least some degree of the hatred she bears in it. Alright, that's fair. And I mean, I know I'm speaking way preemptively here, but like, I don't know what good convincing Morgana. See, in the right situation, they could have been convinced to let you go. They're not so bad. I'm not sure what good that'll do, but I mean, I know something will happen at the end, but just can't see it right now. It is beyond my vision. My ferret vision, which is admittedly not very good. A hatred rooted in her perception of you and the things you've done to her. I need to change that perception. I'm still not quite following. What do you mean by change her perception? For you and the Lord to tell your stories, to describe what happened from your perspectives. You want my perspective? I do. Something in your motivations or your circumstances might serve to lessen the animosity she holds for you. The greater the discrepancy in what she believes to be the truth, and the full story, with everyone's perspectives included, the greater the chances she may have a change of heart. Okay, I now understand what you want from me. However, my perspective will do nothing to serve that end. There's no ambiguity, no justification for my actions. Regardless, I would still like to know the whole truth, if you're willing to tell me your part of it. Okay. I'll come by your room later today. Hey, is that alright if I'm there too? Sorry, I would rather if you weren't. Why? Everything you need to know, I've told you already. Captured a witch. No, I kidnapped a young girl for profits and money. And imprisoned her in the tower. I was like preparing to make a joke with that, but then my brain stopped. My motivation, as I said, was to keep your church funded. Those are the facts. The things I did along the way were brutal and inhumane. Hope you can understand why I wouldn't want the woman I love to hear any of that. I understand. I'll see you again later in the day. I'll be waiting. I should get going too. I'm going to need medication and something to get that arm dressed properly. If there's anything else I can get you, let me know. If you want to see a doctor, I'll find you the best one I can. I'm so sorry for ever doubting you. No, I understand. I'm glad you came at all. Me too. Well, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Well, this is awkward. I'm kind of surprised. It's actually got a soft spot, huh? And I was sure you were full of it when you said the two of them had a thing going on. What does she see in a guy like him anyway? She's got bad tasting guys, that's for sure. True. What's with that look? Just admiring your rather inappropriate remarks. Oh, sorry, I was just so relieved it kind of came out. It's okay. You almost got a smile out of me. Never seen you smile before. I blame being relieved too. Now, would you mind helping me back into my room? Sure, no problem. My shoulder's all yours. You know, on account of your own being kind of messed up. You know, you really are something else, Michelle. I could hear you through the door as I was getting it opened, and honestly, I'm amazed you were able to stand up to him like that. I don't want to get my hopes up too high just yet, but I'm starting to think you might actually be able to do something about the Lord. That's reassuring, thank you. Sure. Anyway, let's get going. You should get as much rest as you can until he shows up. Well, I mean, you should be going to see a doctor with these wounds. That's okay, I'll tough it out. It's fine, it's fine. Gulp. Oh yeah, Nellie's been worried sick about you all day. I'll have to tell her not to pounce on you because I'm sure she'll come running as soon as she hears we found you. Yeah, my fingers need time to set back in place. Hey chat, do you mind if I grab a snickerty snack and munch on it while I keep going? Because I think I'm gonna go for another while. But I am starting to get hungry. So instead of stopping streaming and cooking my foods and snickerty snack, chat, do you mind, chat, snack? Okay, I'm going. Oh, don't click buttons on accident. Herb to Bursk. I do be back though. I do be back with the snack. I got a box. Got a box of Nilla wafers. Which admittedly are much better with milk, but open. Ah. Channel the strength of Michelle. There we go. But I'm not gonna put a glass of milk on my desk and chance knocking it over and messing up my keyboard, and it could potentially like spill over the side and hit my computer too. Not gonna chance it, nope. And in addition to Nilla wafers, I do be having nuts though. Mixed nuts. Oh, that Nilla wafer's so good. After I bought them, I panicked for a moment because I saw the logo and I was like, Nabisco? No! But then I remembered that Nestle is the scumbag company that I'm avoiding, not Nabisco. I Ms. Go to the sleeps now. Bye. Okay. Good night, Lucky Bucky. Thanks for sticking around. Much appreciated. You have a good one. Sorry that your final moments here were listening to me talk about food. Have a good sleep. You as well. Giselle, you are right. I do have people here who will support me. If and when you do. I mean, I'll sleep at some point. Or will I? I do have people here who will support me. People who are grateful for me. Who show concern for me. Can't relate. But you have to know, Giselle, that it's your voice I want to hear more than anyone else's. Why can I not hear you? Where are you, Giselle? Giselle? Did our minds meld together or something? It's almost sunset. Looks like the snow didn't stick. You couldn't actually see the snow. Oh. That was weird. You couldn't actually see the snow last night, could you, Giselle? Was that when the light started fading from the sphere of darkness encasing you? Or had it been going on even longer than that? Why didn't you say anything? Not a word. I don't believe you're gone for good. You're still out there somewhere. I know it. What, are your brain hopping into other people? Are you jumping in Jacopo's head? Gonna convince him to not be the worst person ever? I mean, past Jacopo's the worst ever. Future Jacopo's okay, but past Jacopo's the worst. And I will come for you. I swear it. Knock, knock. Just a moment. Here I am, as promised. I heard you talking, so I thought there was someone with you. But you're alone? It's only me, yes. I see. As I told you earlier, my perspective on events will do nothing to change Morgana's mind. I would still like to hear what you have to say. Alright. Not being from this land, I don't believe in the local god, nor do I think priests and preachers any better than con artists. Hey, you're a regular modern-day atheist. Where did that come from? What I'm trying to say is, if I give a confessional, it won't be to another human. You're an angel. But you just said you don't believe in the local religion. And I'm pretty sure... Let's see, what religions were the Japanese all about at the time? There's Buddhism and Taoism, but they also like have their local Japanese like mythology doesn't include angels, I don't think. Ah well, come again. The angel from the stained glass window. That's you, isn't it? What? Wait, how on earth did you come to that conclusion? I was thinking about everything you said earlier in the cellar. The fact that you knew about Morgana, the fact that you could see into my heart, and in particular, all your talk about saving people's souls. Salvation is not man's job. Which means you must be something else. I will tell you everything. Every foolish mistake, every terrible crime. And in exchange, I would like you to tell me what I am to do next to lead me down the path I am to take. Well, step one is stop murdering people. If you can manage that, it'd be great. I terrify myself. With every passing day, my ability to tell what direction I'm supposed to be heading in dulls. So after I tell my story, I want you to do that for me. Please, will you show me the way? Do you know the way? I can do more, no more decide, I can no more decide the path you take than you. But you saw into my heart. Giselle, if you were here, you would encourage me to agree to his request, wouldn't you? Okay. I can't guarantee that anything I'll have to say will be of use, but I will do the best I can to lead you in the right direction. Thank you. Now, before I begin, there's one thing I need to clarify. Nini? I am not in love with Pauline. She does play an important role in my life, though. That much is true. She's your tether. Exactly. I'm also, I suppose you could say, I admire her. She's everything I am not, everything I cannot be. Is that something I should tell her, you think? That I don't love her, that I'm incapable of feeling love? Should I tell her that knowing she genuinely loves me? Yeah, sure, she'll find someone better. My instinct tells me I shouldn't. I know very well I'm lying to her. But there are circumstances in which a lie is preferable to the truth, are there not? Yes, but... That said, I'm ready to begin. You have my full attention. Let's go. Beastie route. As you know, I am not from this land. The issue is, I don't know any more about where I came from than you. I remember the Silk Road, stretching out before me as far as the eye can see. Clouds of dust, wisping across the bare dirt trail. That endless expanse of red earth remains branded into the very fabric of my mind. By the way, Cheese Louise, complete history noob. I only barely know what the Silk Road is. So, I hope I don't need to know. But beyond that, most of my memories are gone. I remember learning about it in high school, but I do not remember very many details. I could only clearly remember the last 5 years or so of my life. In my oldest real memory, I was a slave. I didn't work on some nobleman's estate, but instead I did physical labor, construction work. I built roads and buildings, tore down hills and mountains. That's where it was decided someone built like I am would be the most use, I suppose. And while I doubt I need to tell you this, living conditions were miserable. Other slaves withered away and died on a daily basis. Working in Noble's estate would have been easier, without a doubt, if only for the fact I would have a specific master. I don't remember anything about my life before becoming a slave. All I have are those few images from which I can guess I was a part of a caravan. Or perhaps a messenger. I vaguely remember being waylaid. Waylaid?
Waylay.
Stop or interrupt and detain them in conversation or trouble them in some way. I don't really know what that means in this context, but okay. We were vastly outnumbered. Oh, okay. They got stopped by bandits or whatever. We were vastly outnumbered, massacred with little resistance. Or at least, I assume that's what happened. When I next woke up, I had been stripped bare and was surrounded by men I didn't recognize. The words they spoke were gibberish to my ears. But I could tell from their tone and expressions that the things they were saying were not friendly. They seemed to be mocking me, laughing at me. As you might expect, I attempted to protest, but eventually I had been beaten quite badly while I was unconscious. My joints were stiff and swollen, on top of my dehydration, so I could barely move, let alone put up a fight. As strong as I might have been at full health, I was in no condition to do anything that... You have no idea what it's like. How it feels to be abused and humiliated, desperate for food and water. No, I think Michelle could probably tell you a thing or three about it. Oh, I see. So as I was saying, I was a slave for one grueling, torturous year. No one treated me like a human being. There was no one from the same part of the world as me. And there was no one to come to my aid. Over time, I came to learn their language. Though I can only speak it, I don't know how to read or write. But to be honest, I think I was happier not understanding what people were saying about me. They had many words to describe me, none of them flattering. Some of them would even call me Beast. I wonder if we'll get to 300 before the end. Probably not. The longer I was treated as something less than human, the more I began to question whether or not I really was one. A darkness grew inside of me with each repeated insult. I wanted to make them pay for the daily abuse. And who wouldn't? The desire to exact vengeance when you've been mistreated is only natural. It's perfectly reasonable. But they were right about what I was keeping down. A beast. And my revenge went far beyond what could be considered reasonable. 260 beasts! That'd be awesome if we managed to end on 360. That'd be cool. Nom nom. And I mean, if we're just short, I could like spam it during the credits. 4 years ago, I was sitting in a carriage as it rattled along a dirt road. This was not the kind of carriage you rode around town in, but a filthy slave transport. I was packed in the back with slaves, or soon-to-be slaves, I suppose I should say. There were men, young women, even children. Everyone wore a look of hopelessness on their faces, and no one had the strength left to resist. They looked like me a year earlier, deprived of food and water, and beaten into submission. The slave traders' guards were armed, of course, swords hanging from their hips, ready to cut down anyone who showed any sign of resistance. So they sat there, lamenting their fate. Sitting beside me was a young girl crying in silence. Glancing over at her, I caught a glimpse of her face. Large chunks of skin seemed to have fallen off of it. It was, suffice to say, an unusual sight. But beyond that, I didn't think much of it. I didn't find it disturbing or unpleasant. Perhaps because I had a similarly unusual appearance. What caught my attention, though, was the way she was crying. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it seemed different somehow from everyone else crying in the carriage. It was almost like her tears were not for herself. "Why are you crying?" At my question, the girl turned her head up to look at me. Surprise crossed her face for a few brief seconds. That was her only reaction to my appearance. I assume her thought process was roughly the same as mine, so she felt no need to fear me. After a moment's hesitation, she said, "I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me." Her response perplexed me to no end. Why was she concerned about showing gratitude? Why was she not despairing of her own circumstances? Why was that the emotion that gripped her in that moment, not hatred for the slave traders or sorrow for herself? To this day, I still don't understand. But that was the only thing I found curious. Her voice. Wait. That wasn't the only thing I found curious. Adoy. Her voice, despite being soft, cut through the crying and wailing of the other slaves. I pictured it like a single patch of clear water in the middle of a swamp, untainted by its surroundings, gently undulating. One sentence was all she said, but there was something unbelievably calming about the sound of it. For a moment, I was filled with a sense of tranquility. And though you may not believe it, I wanted to get her out of that filthy carriage. To undo the shackles threatening to detain her. Or to taint her, rather. And so I took action, driven by that desire. This is no lie, I promise. No, don't kill me! Please, you can have all my money. You can go free if that's what you want. I'll apologize, anything. What? Why are you laughing? Please spare me. I have a wife and children. Please. I'm begging you. And why should I care? Ooh, it's his catchphrase. Holding a sword in my hand felt amazingly right. Whatever work I once did must have required me to use a blade. Even with the shackles still around my wrists, I had little trouble slaughtering the slave traders and their guards. They let their guard down because we were restrained. But why did I say it like that? They let their guard down because we were restrained. The thought of anyone resisting never once crossed their minds. Dead bodies sprawled out around me. Corpses I had made, lives I had snuffed out. Look at this. See, no one can defeat me. They stood no chance against my strength. More. I need more. I need more. I don't have the words to describe the high it gave me killing those men. The power I felt over them. And if you stopped here, Bestia, you'd be fine, but you don't stop here. I was driven mad by the stench of blood filling the air. No, it just drew out what was always there. If I weren't already deranged, the corpses would have had nothing to stimulate in the first place. Sure. I can't tell if that noise went through or not. After taking the keys off the slave traders, I returned to the carriage, doing my best to act calm and suppress the bubbling exhilaration. Hey you, unlock my shackles for me. I would do it myself if I could. You! Say something, would you? But she said nothing, simply removing my shackles as commanded. If she had said even one word, let me hear the curiously calming voice of hers, then in all likelihood, I probably would have stopped there. Don't blame her for what you're about to do. But she remained perfectly silent. Everyone was in shock at what they had just witnessed, her included. In time, though, the slaves started cheering. The same people who had been wailing minutes earlier were now shouting praises. Our savior! You are our savior! We're free to go home. We can have our lives back. Undo our shackles, please. I'm a beast. Yep, and this is where you lose all likability as a character. Sorry. What? I am not a savior. I'm not a man. I'm a beast. Isn't that right? I'm a beast, aren't I? What are you? More. I need more. I thirst for more. What? Why are you pointing your... I need more. Ah, blood. I hate that. Get out of here, blood. You were not invited today. In that moment, the last of my reason dissolved. I went into a frenzy, slaughtering the helpless slaves I had never intended to kill. I was euphoric. I couldn't get enough. I reveled in it. Never before had I felt such an utter ecstasy. Their cries for mercy as I ripped through them were delicious. The look of fear in their eyes. The way their faces twisted. The splatters of blood around their mouths open in screams. The despair that filled them. Did Twitch crash? Maybe? Twitch? Okay, there it goes. I guess it was just my stream that had crashed. Fortunately, I don't have to watch commercials when I'm loading myself. I didn't care anymore that they were just as much victims as me, that they had suffered the same amount of abuse and humiliation. All that was buried beneath the waves of bliss that ravished me. Everyone who asked to be spared, I skewered. I worked my way around the inside of the carriage, killing dozens upon dozens of slaves. Heads went rolling off shoulders, hot geysers of blood spewing from open necks. Alright, we get it. I was practically wading through blood by that point. Some bodies I completely dismembered. Others I disemboweled, leaving their entrails hanging out of their open guts. All of them had looks of agony frozen into their faces as death took them. I don't know if I was unconsciously avoiding her or if it was just a coincidence. But the girl was the only one left alive. Oh, you were absolutely unconsciously avoiding her. I don't have a doubt about that. She, of course, hadn't been spared the mess, so she sat there drenched in sticky red gore. Her lips appeared to be trembling, though. I couldn't tell for sure, with so much of her skin missing. The fire inside me still burned white hot. She was the reason I had done any of this in the first place. I had stood up because I wanted to set her free, but my original intentions were long since gone from my mind. Raw pleasure overwhelmed any sense of reason. I approached the girl, pointing the sword at her neck. I expected her to scream, to beg for her life like the others, but she did nothing, simply stared up at me. Why didn't you run? At my question, the girl finally spoke. Why did you kill them? The sound of her voice quelled the furor within me. Yo, furor. That's a fun word. It baffled me. I had no control over it, yet this strange girl could pacify me with a single utterance. The words she used didn't matter. It was her voice. She could have called me a monster, and it would have had the same effect. Because I felt like it. I couldn't explain my reason for murdering the slaves. I didn't have the words to express the things that drove me. All I could tell her was that I did it because I felt like it. Because I feel like it. And why haven't you killed me yet? I couldn't find a sure answer to that question in my somewhat rattled mind either. In retrospect, I realize now that her voice was my first tether. But at the time, I had no idea why I didn't take her life in my frenzy. I had killed other children, other women. Young, old, sad, miserable, it didn't matter. Nothing had so much as prickled my conscience. I don't know. I said, and then I stepped off the carriage and walked away. What? Left with questions I couldn't answer. Was I really a beast? Yeah. Was I unleashing my innate savagery and reveling in the massacre of helpless people really all I wanted? I didn't know. Somehow I felt more bad for him in Door 2 than I do right now. I don't know. Not by the end of Door 2, but like midway through Door 2. By the end of Door 2, I decided that I'll never like this character. And hey, what do you know? After escaping from the slave traders, I became something of a bandit. I had no hope of anyone taking me in. Not only was I a murderer, I was a foreigner. Yo, do you know Cthulhu? Or Yog Sothoth? Or... oh, not that kind of foreigner. Oops. Nor did I have any chance of finding decent work. So I lived by the sword, killing and plundering. The money, I honestly didn't give a damn about. I had no desire to be wealthy. It was simply a matter of survival. That and quenching my thirst. Speaking of... ah. I went on for about 3 years like that. Until finally encountering something I couldn't defeat with my sword. No amount of muscle was enough to protect myself from disease. One day I woke up with the chills, my vision blurry, barely able to move my own limbs. I set off for a nearby village hoping to see a doctor, but my body didn't last that long. I collapsed on the side of the road, drained of my last strength. It was a moderately busy road at that, so I assume I made it close to the city. Dozens of people passed by, silently pretending not to see anything. I didn't look like someone a respectable person would want to involve themselves within normal circumstances, so it was no surprise they weren't interested in this sick, filthy foreign man. I mean, they can't tell you're foreign if you're, like, face down in the dirt. Hell, I couldn't remember the last time I had bathed. It was hard to look at me, let alone get anywhere near me. This is where I'm going to die, I thought. It seemed like a suitable end to a man, a murderous monster's life, withering away on the side of the road beneath sneering passers-by. The fact that I was still alive at all after 3 years of leeching off other people's lives was itself wrong. I didn't lament my impending demise. I accepted that such was the way of the world. But then, I glanced up to see a woman in a nun's habit looking down on me. Yo, I've not seen the word habit used like that, like ever. But I'm not going to Google it. Are you alright? Are you sick? I'm going to check your temperature, okay? Wow, you're burning up. You shouldn't be out here in this condition. Do you not have anywhere to go? Don't worry, I've got you covered. There's a church not too far from here. Hang in there just a little longer and you'll be fine. And what is your God going to do for me? He helps people in need? It's not very big, but we've always got room for people who need it. You can rest up in one of the open beds, and I should be able to get you a little something to eat. I promise it'll be better than staying out here at any rate. Can you stand? Not a problem. We can do this together. Together? Put your arms around my shoulder. The church isn't that far. We can do it. You are going to carry me? Yep. It'll be fine. We'll make it one way or another. Almost there. Just a little longer. I'm heavy, aren't I? Very, very heavy, but that's not a problem. I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Just throw me into a ditch. Now, God doesn't like his children talking like that. Almost there. We're almost there. So how are you feeling? Better, I hope? I'll have some applesauce on the bedstand if you're feeling up for eating anything. Yo, they already invented applesauce by this time? That's crazy. I guess it's just mashed up apples. So it's not that crazy. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Why did you help me? Because that's what people do when they help each other. It's not what most people do. I like to think it is. You church people are exceptions. I'm not sure if I agree with that. This woman is only showing me compassion because she doesn't know what I am. She wouldn't be so friendly if she knew I was a madman and a murderer. Joke's on you, I'm into that. If there's anything else you want, let me know. I can't make you any fancy dinners, but if it's anything I can get, I will. Could you tell me your name? I'm Marie. Marie. After, who was it? The Virgin? You're not familiar with the Virgin Mary? Just look at me, I'm clearly not from these parts. Ah, yeah, I can see that. So what would make you that would make you a traveler, huh? You speak the language really well, though. I take it you've been here a while, then? Yes, I have. How exciting! So when you're feeling better, maybe you could tell me about the country you came from? I've never been far from home, so I'm curious what it's like elsewhere. There's nothing I could tell you. It can be anything. Tell me about yourself if you want. I'm even less inclined to do that. Get better soon, Kay. I'm looking forward to hearing all about this. I'm not sure there's anyone out there more deserving of the Virgin Mary's name. What was that? Your name, if it suits you. Oh no, not at all. I'm incredibly flattered to hear you say that, but I hardly live up to the name. What's your name, by the way? I have no name. You don't? If you want something to call me by, you can choose a name for me. Anything you want. How about Beastia? Yeah, that sounds real good. I am nameless. You give me a name. I think you should be the one to choose your name. I'd be more than happy to help, though. But you should go with the name you think is best. Did you say Beast? No, I said best. Oh, okay. I see. Well, I should get going. I'll be around. So if you need anything, just holler. Holla dollar bill, y'all. Bye then. How am I supposed to choose a name for myself when I don't know anything about me? I don't know, just pick a name you think is cool. Like Axel. Or... I don't know. Samuel. I don't know. I think I know cool names. Xander. There's a cool one. I recovered quickly with a proper bed and a roof over my head. Out on the road, I had been certain I stood no chance, but I was back on my feet after only 3 days at the church. My body was more resilient than even I knew. And now that I was back in health, I had no intention of sticking around. Thank you for everything. I'd be dead if it weren't for you. No thanks necessary. I'm just glad to see you're feeling better. There's no need to be in such a rush to leave, you know. Stay a bit longer. Make sure everything's alright. I'm not going to stay any longer than necessary. If you're sure. Take this as payment for the food and lodgings.
I can't accept that, no. We don't charge for charity.
Charity is not free. You paid for it. Let me pay you back.
I can't.
Please take the money.
If you insist, I can accept it as a tithe.
A tithe?
Think of it like a donation to the church. I can't accept your money unless you say you're giving it to me for free. Like you said, the work we do isn't free.
Alright, a tithe it is then.
Thank you. And may God bless you for your generosity.
Oh, what have I done? So long.
Hey, if you're ever in the area, maybe you could stop by sometime.
Oh. Oh, control is like actually fast forward, not just like move. I see. Why would you need a hotkey fast forward button? There's just this fast forward button. There should be enough for your fast forwarding needs. Oh well. Chi says he reads visual novels and he doesn't even know how useful a fast forward hotkey is. Yeah, I hear you. I see you.
Never get a chance to have that talk with you. And I was really looking forward to it too.
I'll just cause you more trouble.
What? No, you wouldn't. What makes you think that? Are you afraid you'll scare people off because you look different? I really don't think you need to be worried about that.
It's not just my appearance. I'm a beast! Do you mean it? That it won't be any trouble having me around?
I absolutely mean it.
Okay. I'll consider it.
Wonderful. I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah. Believe me, I knew I had no place involving myself with her. A killer making himself comfortable in the house of God? I don't even believe in their deity, and I still knew that was nothing if not extremely disrespectful. The money I had donated to her church wasn't even clean. It was stolen. I didn't feel the slightest bit guilty about it, though. I was more than conscious of what I was doing, but none of that mattered to me. She had smiled when she took it. That was enough. Seeing the nun smile put my heart at ease. Much like the sound of the slave girl's voice had several years ago. It restrained me, suppressed my urges. That smiling face was my new tether. By the way, shoutouts to Twitch for actually changing the colors of their buttons in their stream monitor. It's way smarter laid out than it used to be. Or, I mean, you can lay it out yourself, but it's really... Color coding is good. Which is weird, because Twitter just took away color coding their buttons, and now everything's either white or black, depending on your theme. Just a little bit of blue in there. It used to have a little more color. I'd always believed that I was at my happiest while torturing people. That my thirst for murder was ingrained in my soul. But as exhilarating as taking others' lives was, there's part of me that yearned for peace. I'd gotten a taste with her and I wanted more. Even knowing I had no place in that world, that peace was something I would never attain. I still longed for it, yearned for it even, you could say. Ah. It started with brief visits every few months. In time, though, their frequency began to increase. Soon, it was once a month, then twice, then once a week. The length of my visits gradually grew as well. Bah. Bah. Every time I showed up, the nun greeted me with a smile, quenching my thirst without the need for blood. I need to either kill people or have a girl smile at me. Your choice, world. The more we met, the more I endeavored to be a normal man around her, or to play the part of one. I thought that if I acted like there was nothing wrong with me, then I wouldn't be out of place at her side. I wanted to feel like I belonged in that place, in that peaceful world where she lived.
It's the giant man. Marie, the giant man's here.
Giant?
Hello there. I was beginning to think you weren't coming this week. I was having trouble deciding on what to bring you. You're always welcome here, you know. You don't have to bribe yourself in. What?
Okay, I guess that's a turn of phrase that exists.
But I appreciate it, thank you.
I wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring something. I brought a variety of fruits for you today, so you can share them with the children.
They'll be delighted. Thank you so much.
It's nothing, really.
So have you decided on a name for yourself yet?
Not yet, no.
Nothing at all? Makes talking to you a little awkward. Not having anything to call you.
In that case, the giant man is as good as anything.
Did he get under your skin?
A little. I'm not that big, am I?
We're all giants, still little kids. I do wish they'd be a little less blunt about it sometimes, though.
Indeed. I suppose it's better than them being afraid of me. The children here have strong nerves. Uh-oh, I just dropped a peanut on the floor. Oh, there it is.
They're ordinary kids. You're just not a scary person.
So you say. They only assume I'm harmless because I'm with you.
What? You make it sound like you actually are dangerous or something.
Because I am.
Don't get worked up about it. The only thing different about us is our race.
And gender, I guess.
Everything else is exactly the same.
I'm not so sure.
You must have had some pretty awful experiences because of your appearance, then, to make you so concerned about it. I wish I could say I understood your pain.
That's not necessary.
But if I could, then maybe I'd feel a little closer to you. If only I could be even half the same race as you.
You have nothing to gain from being more like me.
Boy, I wish in my next life that one of my parents was the same race as you. That's my one wish. I hope it comes true.
Well, you're in luck, Pauline.
You have nothing to gain from being more like me.
Oops.
You don't think so? I think there's a lot that would be nice about it. I could probably have really pretty black hair at least. If I'm ever reborn, I'd like to be more like you.
Why are you so obsessed with being like me?
I just am?
Oh.
Yeah.
Pro tip, don't ask people why they're obsessed with you. Doesn't usually end well. That was about the time I started noticing the feelings she had for me. At first sight, I was simply being egotistical. There was no way a woman like her would be interested in a man like me. But I couldn't think of any other explanation for the way she looked at me. Back then, I believed I loved her too. Believed I loved, past tense. And that if we could be together as man and woman, that I would finally be able to attain the peace I so sought. That I could wash my hands of the killer within me, defeat the urges once and for all. That I could step out of the darkness I had lived in for so long. That I would be able to see the light. That I would be able to experience love like any other ordinary man. So in the name of that hope, I took action. That foolish, naive hope.
Well, what are we doing out here so late at night?
Sorry for asking you to come meet me on such short notice. I hope it wasn't too much trouble sneaking out.
It certainly wasn't easy. So you had something to tell me?
What I'm about to tell you, every last word is sincere. And then once you've heard me out, I want you to turn me down.
What?
Over these past few months, I've come to at least somewhat understand the responsibilities and restrictions placed on you as a nun. But even ignoring the obligations you have, I know good and well I'm not a suitable match for you. Which is why, as I said, I'd like you to turn me down.
I still want to hear it.
I love you. I fell for you the moment I first saw you. I know I don't deserve to be anywhere near you. But every time we meet, my desire to be with you grows stronger and stronger until it was out of my control. Turn me down, Marie, please, and I'll stop trying to get close to you.
I'm not Marie.
You're not. What?
My real name is Pauline.
Pauline?
Marie is my baptismal name. It's not the name I was given at birth. I love you too. I fell for you the moment I first laid eyes on you.
You know, I know that's just a tired cliche phrase, but it super doesn't apply to these two. When I saw you dying on the side of the road, all filthy and... Yep, I was in love with you. Love at first sight.
I know it's forbidden, but I want to be with you too. Any free time I have, I want to spend it with you.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Thank you for being honest with me.
No, thank you for not turning me down.
Wow, talk about an anxious day. When he asked me to meet you out here tonight, I wondered if that might be what it was about.
Can't read.
I felt like my heart was going to explode all day.
Or explode?
Guys get nervous about telling girls how they feel too, don't they?
Yeah, we do.
Until now, I had no idea falling in love was so hard on the nerves. Just thinking about you makes my mind turn to mush. It's hard to work like that, you know.
Is it really that stressful?
Is it like that for you too?
Yeah, totally. Yep. Thinking about you makes it impossible for me to concentrate. Tell me something more. I mean, Pauline.
What is it?
How exactly is it hard on your nerves?
What? How exactly? It's like, I'm in the clouds and I want to scream and I want to jump into the lake all at the same time.
That doesn't help me much. Should be a little more specific.
Really? Are you trying to embarrass me? It's like my whole body gets really hot.
Your whole body is really hot. Oh, not like that. I see. You mean you get aroused?
Aroused? No, to put it bluntly, yes.
Okay, I see.
You're a real jerk, you know. You shouldn't go around trying to humiliate ladies.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, you.
Well, that was insightful. So I'm not in love with her, or romantically attracted to her, or even physically attracted to her. All I want from her is her smile. Being around her doesn't arouse me. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. My fire burns brightest when I'm not with her. That'll make sense now. I just want someone to keep me placated.
Placated? Placated? Google Chan. I think it's placate.
Placate.
Yes. I'm disturbed through and through. A murderer and a beast.
See, that's why I didn't want to say anything. I knew you would laugh at me.
I'm sorry. I truly am. I did ultimately get what I wanted out of the arrangement. She became my tether, became an invaluable part of my life, even if I had no real love for her. When I was with her, I was at peace. That said, her presence didn't completely rid me of my urges. I was still occasionally struck with bouts of insatiable thirst. Not that kind of thirst. Overwhelming desire to mutilate anyone who came into my line of sight. And sometimes Pauline became the object of that desire. It goes without saying that I never did draw my sword on her, but I have no way of knowing when I might lose control. And if I ever did kill her, then there would be nothing left to keep me from regressing completely into a beast. Pauline and I arranged regular nighttime meetings, though never once did I tell her how I truly felt. And I had no intention to either.
Yeah, too bad she's listening outside the door, dude. I promise. I promise she is.
When I was with her, I was in the role of her lover. She never questioned my love for her. And expressing hers for me caused her to smile even more than normal. The happier she was, the more beneficial it was to me. Spending time with her in this capacity, I was able to gain a deeper understanding of what kind of person Pauline was. She was a deeply generous and compassionate woman. While I now understand her near-compulsive deeds of charity were a result of the stress and uncertainty she felt about herself at the time, I believe she was doing it because she genuinely wanted to.
Oh my gosh. Ach, du Lieber.
While I now understand her... Well, I already read that. I believe she wanted to save absolutely everyone, to be the saintess she had come to be known as. She gave assistance to anyone who sought it from her, without question, and as a result, the church's coffers quickly dried up. Her God did not supply her with an endless store of bread and wine either. In the end, any endeavor, no matter the intentions, requires money. Like being a VTuber. In time, her generosity turned excessive, self-destructive. She would even skip meals so that others could eat. In retrospect, that was probably my fault too. As I pushed her towards wanting to be a regular girl, she pushed back against that desire by being even more charitable. Soon her actions started making the other nuns' lives difficult, giving her a less than favorable reputation within the church. Still, she would tell me when we met up how she wished she could help even more people. If doing so would give her peace, and if I could be a part of that peace, then I wanted to grant her wish. But what could a killer like me do to help? Petty thievery would make me nearly enough money to wouldn't make me nearly enough money to keep a church and orphanage running. And a rage large enough in scale to do so would inevitably be traced back to the source, which would ruin the church forever. How is a murderer to acquire such a large sum of money? I was ready to jump at any opportunity that presented itself, and I received a summons from the Lord. You've been served. I take it you're the Oriental man who's been buzzing around a local church of late. When I first saw the Lord, I was surprised at just how young he looked. There couldn't have been more than a couple years difference between us. I had envisioned him as elderly, or at the very least, a middle-aged man. That would be me, yes? What of it? Who do you think you're talking to, you impudent rat? Show some damn respect. Apologies, I'm not very familiar with the local customs or language. Very well, then. You're fortunate I'm such an understanding man. Now, the reason I called you here. You're the one who killed that cart full of slaves 4 years ago, aren't you? So you know about that. Ha! I wasn't actually sure it was you, but now I have confirmation. Because you just told me, Fox Boy. Since then, one slave of Far Eastern origin has remained unaccounted for. I take it that would be you? That's right. You made one hell of a mess out there. Coughing. Am I here to be punished? That depends on how our talk goes. You think I'm going back to being a slave, you're fooling yourself. I don't need any more damn slaves, and I certainly don't want you as one. You're obviously not finding any respectable work being an ex-slave, so I take it you're still in the business of getting your hands dirty, are you not? I assume you're playing cat burglar or something, living off whatever you can swipe from the nearest unlucky bastard. Correct. Isn't it comical, then, that you would choose God's sacred house to stretch your legs in, you filthy dog? I absolutely agree. I thought that would get a reaction out of you, but it seems you've got no bite in you today. Never mind. Let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns. You're going to help me with a little something I'm working on. Help you with what exactly? Something that's going to make me a lot of money. And if you lend a hand, I'll make sure you're well taken care of. Along with the church you're so fond of, and the nun you've taken a liking to. That nun of yours has made quite the name for herself. Out in the city proper, people have started calling her the Saintess. They're right about that, she is. Ha! The commoners love their heroes and saints. They eat that rubbish right up. But saint or not, you can't simply create food from nothing. Yeah, Jesus made bread out of his own flesh, however that works. Her work is causing financial troubles for the church, is it not? It is, yes. If you help me with this, I'm offering you an entirely new church, one where she has complete control to do as she wishes. She'll make it into the biggest church in the city. She'll be able to help even more people, which would surely please her. What would you have me do? Jumping at the first whiff of scraps, you really are a dog, aren't you? I don't like conversations that overstay their welcome. Fair enough. Then let's get to business. Not far from here lives a witch whose blood has the power to cause miracles. Miracle blood? Sounds like a sham to me. You never know. They say the sound of her first cry brought rain to the land where she was born, saving the whole village from drought. And they say her blood has the power to cure any disease. I'll worry about the veracity of the rumors later. Right now, all I want you to do is capture her and bring her to me. Explain something to me, Lord. Mr. Lord Man. You said that if I helped you, the nun would be able to save more people than she does now. So how does capturing this witch accomplish that? I'm glad you know how to listen, dog. We'll be turning the blood into a miracle elixir, which she will then distribute to patrons of the church. In exchange for tithes of course. Selling it then. Selling isn't quite the right word, but if that's what you want to think of it, by all means. You see, if we call it a tithe, then it doesn't get taxed. Except I'm the one who would collect the taxes around here, so I don't know. The commoner's beloved saint is handing out an all-powerful miracle elixir, the Lapita. And in turn, you'll make a fortune. Gosh dang it. And in turn, you'll make a fortune? Exactly. The money I can use to support her church. It'll be a boon to the city's economy as well. Single witch's freedom is all it'll cost for everyone here to come out happy. So what'll it be? Will you help, or will I have to? I'll help. I have no reason not to. Decisive and a good listener. Excellent. Once I've captured the witch, where do I take her? I have a mansion set aside where your nun can run her church. There's an observation tower on the grounds. The witch will be kept locked up there to ensure we have constant supply of blood. Okay. When do you want me to get her? You're just chomping at the bit now, aren't you? I thought you'd hesitate at least a little, but I guess it was foolish of me to presume to understand how the killer's mind works. Oh, the resources I put into investigating you and everyone close to you are wasted, it would seem. Do you even have a conscience? Don't act like you're any different. I assure you, I have a conscience. I just don't listen to it. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't necessary for the growth of the city. No, I mean, you're as much a murderer as me. You would never come up with a scheme like this if your hands were clean. Watch your mouth, dog. Don't you dare insinuate I would ever condescend to your level. Never seen the word condescend used in that way, but I guess it's appropriate. I agreed to the Lord's terms. A couple of days later, I made my way out to the location the Lord had given me, a small cottage by a lake, where the witch was said to live. I had been instructed to take her alive, but not that I wasn't allowed to harm her, so my plan was to force my way in and immobilize her as soon as she opened the door. The Lord was right. I didn't have anything resembling a conscience. I was too far gone to be bothered by the prospect of disabling a witch. Not even the fact that I had found a degree of solace in my relationship with Pauline could change that.
Who's there?
When I heard the witch's voice through the door, I froze. It was the girl from 4 years ago. 4 years earlier. I didn't even have to see her. I knew right away. I wouldn't mistake that voice. That stream of pure, clear water cutting through the grime for anything. I would never forget the first thing that had ever managed to suppress my desires. My first tether. When the Lord told me about the witch, I never once expected it to be her.
Who is it?
Are you the witch with the miracle blood? My hand rested on the hilt of my sword. I had at first meant to break down the door if she wouldn't open it for me.
Please leave.
However, when I heard that voice, my hand fell limp.
Please stay away from my home.
I am in need of your blood. Could you not spare a little?
I have nothing to spare for a man like you. My blood is only for the sick and needy. So please, go away. Stay away from me. I'm begging you. Get away from this place. You're a murderer. I want nothing to do with you. So please, just go away.
As you say.
As she had commanded, I took my leave of her cottage in somewhat of a haze. It should have come as no surprise, but in the 4 years since our last encounter, she had no kind words left. Ugh. Brain! Work. It's not even that late.
Should have come as no surprise, but in the 4 years since our last encounter, she had no kind words left to spare me. Yet, even in her derision, I still felt myself being calmed by the sound of her voice. I debated with myself. Should I do as the Lord requested and capture her? Or should I let her go free as I done 4 years earlier? You already know what I decided to do, though, don't you? That's right. I went with the first option. After all, I had no need for 2 tethers.
Everyone's favorite character. Let's go, Beastia.
While breaking down her door was still an option, the witch was wary of me. If she were to somehow manage to escape, there was no saying how the Lord might react. So I stood watch, waiting for her to step outside. The problem was she never opened her door. It wasn't just me. It seemed she was wary of everyone. There was one exception, though. The boy. She left the cottage for him. They went on walks together around the lake.
It's been a while since we went on one of our walks, huh? I haven't been sleeping much, taking care of Nellie. Is your condition worsening again? Yeah. Rest assured, I will give her my blessing as many times as she needs. Ah, thanks. I really, really appreciate it. The weather's kind of not that great today, huh? Looks like we might get rain. It's probably not smart to stay outside much longer. Yesterday. I should get going. See you.
Watching the two of them, it occurred to me that I could make good use of the boy. You have 2 options. Either you say no and protect the witch,
Get away!
or you help me capture her.
Get away from her right now!
If you choose the witch, I kill the girl.
Get away!
Make your decision.
Get away from her!
You have until the count of 10. If you don't choose, I kill the girl. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll help you. So get your sword out of her face. Don't kill her.
I thought you'd hold out until the last second.
Yeah.
Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get going. Get moving.
Yeah.
You pitiful little boy.
Gra. I'm yelling. Get back! No, stay away from me! No, Gragnarg! Help! Don't kill me!
Take it.
What?
That's your share. Should last you long enough.
What? Why?
Why?
Why did you take my arm? What do you mean? My share? Why?
Am I allowed to complain about there just being way too much of this, like, repeated? Can I complain about that? See?
No, put me down, please. Help! Someone please help.
The witch with the miracle blood had regressed into an ordinary girl as she cried in pain, like a small child. I wasn't going to get very far with her wailing, so I gagged her, tied her up, and threw her into a burlap sack. Like, please explain to me what purpose it serves to go mer 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 dot 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 mer 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 dot 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 mer mer mer. Okay? One exchange is fine. Nothing personal. I just need your blood. Without it, she'll lose the church. She needs the money. I need some way of getting enough money to keep her church running. So the Lord made me an offer. If I brought him the witch with the miracle blood, he would finance a whole new church for her. So don't take it personally, kid. Nothing personal, kid. I tossed the sack into the cart I had waiting outside, then made my way to the mansion as per the Lord's instructions. The two of us locked the witch in the observation tower. When I told the Lord I had used a boy as bait to get her to open the door, he gave an exasperated sigh and said, "Involving a third party was not part of the plan. Is there anything at all in that head of yours, dog? I can kill him if that's a problem. Don't be hasty. Describe him for me. Did he seem like he came from a wealthy family?" "He's young, still in his teens. He lives with his little sister. He looked reasonably well off, possibly of noble blood." "You picked one hell of a target to use as your bait. Should I kill him?" "There are people in this world you can make disappear quietly. People no one will notice have gone missing. You are one of them. The boy, he most likely isn't. Was the boy at all interested in the witch's blood? He seemed to be. Well, that makes things a little easier. We just have to make him into an accomplice, then. That's everything up to about 6 months ago. You know what happened next, I presume. I threatened Mel, forced him to join us. He needed the blood for his sister, but even without that excuse, he didn't have the courage to run. Me, on the other hand, I involved myself with my own will. I had no reason to try to get back out. In fact, being put in charge of one of the 3 keys gave me an excuse to meet up with her more often. The arrangement was quite beneficial for me.
Hey, I heard the news. You were selected to be part of the Lord's personal guard? Now you've got it made. Congratulations.
You exaggerate. It's nothing.
Oh, no need to be humble. He wouldn't have picked you if he didn't really trust you. Everyone around here knows how hard it is to earn the Lord's trust.
If you say so.
It hasn't been easy on him, I hear. He only assigns those he really trusts to work so close to him.
Haha, I hope you're right.
He trusts you, I'm sure of it.
Certainly can't tell her the real reason I suddenly became his guard.
And I've got some more exciting news too. The Lord sent a messenger for me earlier. Apparently he's building a new church and he wants me to serve as a nun there. Can you believe it?
You shouldn't be surprised. You are the city's saintess, after all. It's little wonder you would be his first choice.
I really don't think I'm that important.
Do you not want the position?
No, I'm delighted to have such an incredible opportunity. This will allow me to help so many people, so many more people than before. It's wonderful news.
That's good to hear. Tell me, I'm not wrong in thinking helping people is one thing you want more than anything else, am I?
Right. That's what I want more than anything in the world.
I see. Hey, smile for me, would you?
Huh? I've been smiling this whole time, haven't I?
Not just now, forever.
Of course. When I'm with you, nothing could possibly take the smile off my face.
Nothing, huh? I'm glad to hear it. Poor Pauline. I never knew someone could lose so much weight while still eating every day. We might have to increase your portions. If there's anything in particular you want, just tell me.
I hear children's voices. From outside, I hear children's voices.
Ah, the kids here to see the Saintess. It has gotten quite noisy out there as of late, yes.
Oh, the Saintess.
Your voice has gotten raspy too. Was that my doing?
What the frig do you think?
Did I take your voice? That's unfortunate. To me, your voice held far more value than your blood. And I took that away from you.
Yes, you 3 took everything from me.
So we did.
Enough chatter, dog.
The Lord's scheme was a success. The witch's blood brought with it an influx of donations, which the Lord invested in various businesses in the city. I have no idea if the blood actually has miraculous powers, but there were certainly people claiming to have been healed by it. It wasn't long before people who weren't sick started making use of the supposed cure-all medication. saying it had preservative properties as well. Oh, come on. As word of the elixir spread, the Lord's prophets grew in kind. One fact was undeniable. The witch's blood stimulated the city's dramatic growth. Wow.